throughout this journey of trying to be a stylist, a designer, I do not have credential for such, but I was able to manifest that dream, that reality. So anyone who's watching or listening to this, who's watching this, that you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one will. You have to save yourself. If you're working in an environment where you don't feel happy, you don't feel acknowledged, and you've got a dream, you've got a talent or skill, you have to surrender to it. You have to let go. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenging road, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the day.
Vusumuzi Ndima, aka Bob the Stylist, is a celebrated South African fashion stylist turned brand owner. Best known as the founder and creative director of Boys of Soweto, a brand blending township heritage with modern luxury. Born and raised in Soweto, Bob turned a love for fashion into a movement, styling icons like Black Coffee to global campaigns with Hennessy. Bob's work fuses purpose, storytelling, and style to reshape fashion narratives. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for making time, bro. I appreciate you, man. It was so dope to come through yesterday. I mean, congrats. You're now at We Are Egg.
Yeah.
And it was so incredible to touch the garments, man. Like, just to feel those cardigans, bro. They sleep in my head rent free, man.
Sure.
The quality of that.
Yeah, people have been going a bit nuts about them.
About the cardigans. I'm not surprised, bro. I'm not surprised.
No, man, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I know it's been... I've been saying that I'm gonna pull through, but coming to Cape Town has always been an in and out because of work.
Yeah.
Man, I'm happy to be here.
Amazing, bro. Amazing, and I can't wait, bro. Like I said to you yesterday, bro. I see your store there on Bree Street. I see it, bro. I can't wait, man. Like I think it's gonna make a lot of sense, and this is your inception into the city, and I think everyone's gonna really resonate to what you're doing. Where I'd love to start, bro. Where do you, let's say, where you are out at some sort of a dinner party and someone asks you what you do professionally and it's people within your realm of fashion, how do you best articulate that? Do you lead with the styling? Do you lead with the brand owner? Do you lead, how do you envision yourself professionally?
Okay, I get that scenario, right? So normally when I'm being asked what do, I tell people that I make people feel good. I make people feel good through fabric, right? Yeah. Because when you look good, you feel good. So I'm a stylist, but I'm also a designer. And I know the power that clothes have,
Incredible.
Yeah. Clothes have a power to uplift your mood. Yeah. So that's my goal. My goal is to make people feel good. And my goal as a stylist, I unearth what's already inside you. I don't change people, but I unearth what's already inside you. Because dressing up is a language, right? Dressing up is a language, and some people are not articulate in it. I'm not good with words, but I know how to make clothes communicate. Yeah.
That's powerful, bro. So you're on fire, dog. Where did you come with this energy, bro?
Yeah, man.
That's incredible, bro. Tell me, what would you say is the beginning of your story? If we are now reading the book or the autobiography of your life, or we're watching a movie and someone's acting as you, what would you see as the beginning of your story?
I mean, the beginning will be a soccer field, right? A soccer field, and this kid is he loses himself in chase of this dream of being a soccer player. So playing soccer, man, it opened another world where I'd forget about my surrounding, because I grew up in an informal settlement. But it wasn't hard. I didn't have a tough life. I didn't feel poor. My mom was a street vendor. My dad a panel beater. But I never felt poor. Only time I felt poor was, or maybe less, was when I visited my cousins. But I lose myself in the soccer field. Because I thought I was going to be a soccer player, but that didn't materialize, right? And fashion saved me.
That's incredible, bro. Now tell me, what would you say is the first moment you had where fashion crossed your path? Or even if it was through music, or if it was through even football, or it was through whatever, that you were just like, yo, the combination of clothing, you were just, something caught your eye that you're like, yo, there's something there for me.
Yeah. So even what the first thing was definitely my dad. My dad played a pivotal role. I mean, when I was bored, I would go back and just watch my dad's photo album, my dad and my mom, right? And I would see a different side of my dad, because my dad, like I said, he was panel beating and they used to wear overalls. But in his photo album, he was dressed in suits, well dressed. He was a dapper guy, you know, and really looked dignified. So I think those are the parts. And I had cousins who are late now, Simpiu and Sabong, who were really they were brand conscious. You know, if Nike would drop a cake and know in a week he would have it. So he was well off. My uncle was a taxi owner, you know, so they could afford, you know, all these high end brands. I would see he would, I know what he would be that guy. I'll probably get a cake in December, right? Because my mom and dad, my mom would buy me clothes and say in June, and my dad would buy me in December. So throughout, he would be the guy that I'd just be wanting to be like, you know, seldom play that role. And on Service Day, oh, that's another part. Service Day, I came alive on Service Day, yeah. I mean, in school, I was an average student. School never really reached me because, I don't know why it never reached me, right? But I'll be alive when I'm dressed in my casual clothes. Get attention from everyone, guys and the girls, yeah. So I knew that there was something here, but I didn't know how to go about it, you know. I didn't know how to go about it. After high school, I started working in retail. I worked in retail. That's when I got to learn more about merchandising, styling, what works, these colors work, the patterns. You can't mix a certain pattern with this type of pattern. That's when I got to learn more about fashion. I used to collect magazines. I used to collect GQ magazine religiously. So on a Friday or on a weekend, I would take a cab with my homies. I would go to Rosebank or Carlton Center. You know, I would collect GQ magazines. And in hindsight, it's just realizing that, I was actually doing research. Yeah. So yeah, but I'd say it goes back to at school and my homies as well.
Yeah, Service Day. Do you remember how much Service Day was? Did you have to pay?
5 rand.
5 rand.
You had to pay 5 rand.
Would you say that was the first time you put the combos together and then you got that from mass appeal to like, wow, this guy looks good, and the compliments, or was that happening outside of school as well?
I mean, it was in school, even outside of school, but school, because, you know, everyone wears uniform, and then on Friday, everyone wants to showcase their best fits, but not everyone actually. I plan my look. I would plan my look, yeah. And yeah, that's when I got to shine. Even in high school as well. A brand that really put me on, where I got my street cred. So when I first time I bought Levi jeans, I was in grade 8, but after that Friday I started hanging out with ladies, and then grade 10. You know, it kind of put me on. Levi actually put me on. Mm-hmm.
Crazy, bro. Yeah. And then what would you say comes next, bro? What would you say? So after you matriculate, you're working in retail.
Yeah.
What comes after that?
Worked in retail, realized there wasn't really growth. Went on a course. I did a 3-week call center course. Started working in call center. I worked in call center for a period of 18 months. From then on, the contract ended. I worked. It was It was considered an internship program, but we are actually doing the actual work, just assisting the community. In Lenasia, we are assisting the elderly people, the indigent, giving them subsidies on their rates and taxes. Yeah. And after that, because I was really planning, I was planning that, okay, from here, once I'm permanent, this is what I'm going to do with, you can apply for bursary, right?
Yes.
So I was planning I was going to do my marketing. I wanted to do marketing. Yeah.
I'm going to study. I'm going to buy a crib.
Sure.
But that's you were planning.
That was my plan. That was my plan. On the last day of it, we were excited. Everyone was excited, and we told us, nah, the contract ended, and guys, we do not have funds because now it's 2010, and the entire budget has been used to build the entire World Cup thing. Because 2010 was the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
And so all the funds went there. I was like, but we're not part of that. You know, it was a hard time. It was a hard time, and I saw people were crying. You know, it was then when I realized, you know what, I am no longer doing this. I'm going to pursue this fashion thing. You know, everyone, and most of the time I get compliments on purely on how I dress. You know, people would say that they've seen me in TV and whatnot. Like, maybe let me pursue this, you know, because it comes naturally. You know, and I remember telling myself that if I'm going to do this, it's either I'm stupid or really brave. And I've never looked back. You know,
and there's something so powerful there, because you realize, you even fail doing the government thing and going the path that everybody wants you to go on. So if I'm going to be failing, I might as well fail at the thing that I love and the thing that I'm going to be most passionate about every single day, you know. And that's important, bro. Like, to just say, like, even these roads come to a dead end, I might as well take dead ends on the thing that I love the most.
Sure.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah, that's what I did, man. That's what I did. And that's when I started taking pictures of myself. So I would self-style. I would ask my homies to take pictures of me. And at times, then after that, I would take pictures, because you have to display how diverse and versatile you are, right? And in creating a portfolio. So my goal was to create a portfolio so I could present it to production companies. I started doing that. And I had a profile on my, this is pre-Instagram, pre-Twitter, pre-social media. Crazy, I think our only social media was just Facebook and Mixit.
And your thinking was, there's a gap in styling. I can style people. I can help people achieve the sort of thing I'm doing for myself. Is that the angle you saw?
That is the angle. But I was not looking at just natural people, but I was looking at, I could style celebrities. I could style musicians and whatnot, right? I didn't even know more about styling. And I did that. Then I met up with homies of mine while I was selling secondhand clothes, right? So I'm now deep into selling secondhand clothes for survival, right? Because now I don't have a monthly income. So I'm selling secondhand clothes. Whilst we're doing that with a homie of mine who was studying law at that time, we met up with another homie who resided in DK. So every Thursday, say Tuesday and Thursday, we'd go to town, right? And it just would go source for garments and pieces. And that's when, because I realized that all of us are stylish. You know, we take pictures, you know, and upload them and create a profile. Then got exposed to blogging. And I think I was sitting with a homie of mine, Itan. Itan was he's a nerd. Like, man, he told me, like, there are ways of making money on social media. Well, not social media, but through blogging. Like, what is that? Started doing research, and there was a platform called Tumblr. Got exposed to that. I opened my first Tumblr account was called Conceptualize. So from then, and I post my homies, then got introduced to Innocent and Justice, because I used to sell pieces to them, right? Suits, whether it be suits or stuff that I was sourcing. Right, got introduced to them, and they were into that as well. And like, this one, I realized, like, oh, there's a thing here. We started calling ourselves Boys of Soweto. There was I.C. Different, there was the Satist, there was Anthony Biller. There was a couple of crews, and it was now, I think in Joburg, it was just a thing, right? We ran with that.
Who came up with the name? How did you guys come up with the name?
I came up with the Boys of Soweto. So homies, we from Soweto, right? But homies of mine took a picture. I think it was Umpumelelo, took a picture, and I was like, oh man.
Caption.
Boys of Soweto. Like, this is
fire. This is
us, right? We roll with that, but initially we wrote it as Boys of Soweto, like W-E-A-R. Soweto. But there was a store called Soweto. No, it was called, I think in Rosebank, it was called Soweto.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, maybe we're going to get into trouble. So we used the actual name, Boys of Soweto. Started calling the blog Boys of Soweto. And the goal was to tell positive stories about men from the township, you know, and at the same time to inspire, because at that time, when you look at, I used to go to fashion shows and I wouldn't be inspired at all, you know, and the goal was to just inspire and just showcase our flair as well. I mean, dressing up is a thing. I think I'm not sure in the city, but dressing up is a thing in the township. It's always been a thing. And a number of people are brand conscious, but we were showing just style, right? And we wanted to show other homies or just men in general, this is how you can assemble your looks, right? Yeah, and we'd have captions, and we'd be philosophical about it. And then GQ caught on it. From GQ, got to work with Ben Sherman, Palladium. We now we're blowing up, right? And we know now the Boys of Soweto blog is popular. That's when I realized
where's Palladium from? They are
it's a European brand. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, like, there's something here. We can flip this. This is now a conversation that I'm having with my homies. Like, we can flip this into a clothing brand,
So you're doing an international collaboration here,
right.
I think. I remember that campaign. It had like some serious people around the world on it as well.
Yeah, there was Daily Paper. I think Daily Paper was there. Street Etiquette was there as well. So it was a global campaign, which is quite amazing, right? That's when I realized, like, no, man, we can run with this.
Wow.
Yeah, but the homies were like, yeah, we're going to do it, but the effort wasn't there. And this is now 2012, 2013. At home, I need to go. When going back at home, like, yo, dude, what's the goal? What's the end goal? What's happening? I remember there was a meeting. So my cousins came in, my sister came, like, dude, what's the story? Because remember, so I used to be a guy that wears suits going to work in a call center, right? So it was promising to them, and I could pay grocery. And now things are a bit tricky. And when they found out that I'm buying secondhand clothes, and there was just a negative perception about secondhand clothes. Yeah. Like, why are you stocking dead people's clothes in our house? My mom thought I was a bit crazy. I remember she actually recently told me that even at church, she prayed about it. My son is, I don't know, I don't think something is right with him. And so she thought I was losing it. But I knew the end goal,
Crazy, man. Yeah. And to persevere through that's crazy, man. Like, especially when your closest family and people around you are unsure about the thing you're doing. That's some...
It gets to
crazy,
you.
Man. It does get to you, but it's crazy that you push through that. Like, that's a testing time, man.
It was definitely was, but luckily, because my mom introduced me to church at an early age, I could tap into that space just to revive or strengthen myself, knowing that there's I think there's a scripture where in Ecclesiastes where I think it's the book of Solomon, where he talks about it. There's time for everything, and I understand that I was still building. This could be my winter season, but there'll come spring. So I could withstand the challenges or the feeling of because imagine you work in a call center and now you're selling secondhand clothes, and then you hear some of the people that are in the streets that they are laughing at you. It puts you in a state of depression. But I could navigate, because I'll always go back to the scriptures, and that will revitalize my spirit. Go head on, and when you upload and things like likes. Back then, like 100 like was for me was huge. Or just randomly getting a DM like, yo, man, we see what you're doing. Don't stop. That will then fuel my energy. Like, wow. People do see this. People do see it, and that used to happen whenever I was feeling depleted. Feel like I'm gonna quit, because I've thought about it a couple of times. Like, this is not working, and you're looking, and at times we look at our surroundings. You look at your peers, you look at your friends. Like, everyone is moving. Now I'm in my mid-20s. Now I'm in my late 20s. Nothing is happening. But it's having faith. Yeah. That I can't play that. I'm a big believer. I know the source is always with me, and one thing led to another. I was now styling. I was now got introduced to Jody. Jody owns a production company in Joburg called Lamppost. So I was a character and then a stylist as well. So I could at least take care of my family.
Crazy, man.
And she gave me a gig. I remember one gig. The big gig that she gave me was styling actually I said different you guys, and this was a Malcolm's gig.
Wow.
We did that, and I ended up being in front. I was styling and ended up being in front of the camera as well. So I became part of the campaign, so that kind of gave me more energy. Like, let's go, And so one thing led to another. I'm now making suits at the same time, because I have plenty of time. I'm making suits, doing events. I used to do events with a homie of mine, Q. We used to call them Don't Mention It.
Crazy.
Right? And if I'm not doing it, if I wasn't busy, I'll be in the studio making music because of the hip hop background as well.
Crazy, bro. Yeah.
I mean, I think in
ask you about that.
2007, 2006, I think I've seen you a couple of times in Joburg.
Yeah.
Beatboxing. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's a whole different life ago.
Yeah. This was during the early days of Back to the City.
Yes.
I think that's where I saw you. Yeah. So I've been in the culture. I've been in the culture, just taking it in, because that fuels you. It keeps you busy. It keeps you going whilst bidding on other stuff. And then fast forward, I'm here.
So, bro, tell me, was the first product you started making was suits? When the first time you got in front of actually making product?
No, it wasn't suits. So when I told my homies, and this was 2012, let's pursue this thing and work on the brand. I made tees. Got tees from Feeties. I think Feeties is in Cape Town, right? I made tees. I sold them at Arts on Main.
Crazy,
so Arts on Main, it was just me testing things out. I made tees, I made caps, and on one Sunday, we made sales. Okay, there's definitely something here. I got kicked out of Arts on Main because there was another brand called I Love Shows, and they felt like we were competitive, we're selling the same thing.
Yes.
Then I had my stuff available at Oslo. There was a store outside Arts on Main. Oslo. My product were there, right? Used to stock my stuff, and Oslo would take a certain percentage of it. So I did tees first, and I think this was now 2014, 15. And I was like, nah, this is not going anywhere. Not that I'm not selling, but as a collective, we're not going anywhere, right?
So the first products, just to cut you there, so the first products were the tees and caps, and those were Boys of Soweto products. Okay.
Right, testing whether this thing has wheels or something, I did those and sold out, restocked, and sold out, but I was putting in the cash, I was putting the effort, The only time we'd collaborate with my homies, it's when we were doing shoots. I think that's what they loved more, doing shoots. And I realized this is not going to sustain me. And whilst they're moving in their own path, I took a break in 2014. I took a break, and then I started focusing on suits.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, and the reason and how I transitioned from selling second-hand clothes and to making tees. So it was selling second-hand clothes, right? So the three of us were selling second-hand, not only second-hand, but we had even new pieces that we would find in town. How I transitioned was that we were all selling pieces that were quite similar.
Yes.
I need to find my thing. And I need to go back.
Yeah.
Church.
Yes.
So I was a 12 apostle, and you're required to wear suits every day. So you go to church Monday to Sunday, and you have to wear a suit.
Crazy.
Right. So I started focusing on just thrifting suits, and we'll take pictures wearing suits, whether it be at church or just on a Sunday, And a lady reached out to me. She assumed that I was actually designing suits. I'm gonna be my fiance and I we have a date. We're gonna get married in just a particular time. Can you make us a suit? Can you make him a suit rather? Sure. I took that. I met up with a lady friend of mine who's actually studied fashion. I didn't study fashion. Who studied fashion? I asked her, man, this is the task that I'm given. How can you assist? She connected me to the tailor. Went to the tailor, met the tailor, sourced the fabrics. We made the suit. It was a decent suit, my first suit, and it was then I realized okay, there's definitely something here, because I was looking at the margin as well. When I was selling second-hand clothes or second-hand suits rather, I would buy a suit for say 200 rand, take it to dry. It would cost me say roughly 450 or 500 to take it to dry cleaner and tailor it. Then I'd sell it for 1.5 to 2K.
Crazy.
But the game changed when I started making suits, because now you can up your prices.
That's more margin and
sure.
Crazy.
that's when I realized, like, okay, this is a thing for me. I'm going to brand it. And I started calling it Suits by Bob the Stylist. This is 2015. And I did that for like, I think, yes, ever since 2015.
Who was the lady that bought the first suit?
I made a suit for the husband, which is DJ, I'll tell you now, DJ Andy. It was in Channel O.
DJ Andy, if you're watching right now, that suit is worth a lot of money because that's the first one he ever did. That's a collector's item right now, you know?
DJ NDX.
NDX.
Yeah.
He's got something worth a lot of money right now, bro. If you still have it, sure. That's going to be framed somewhere someday. But yeah, carry on, bro.
Yeah. So I did that. I did that as a side hustle while I am now interning as a stylist, being inducted properly into the fashion industry. We're styling editorial magazine shoots. We're styling adverts, commercials. We're styling whether it be stills, motion, tapping into movies, styling series. You know, I'm now busy. Whilst doing that, 2017. Hennessy restart. Okay.
Just before we get to Hennessy, on that now, how did the Bob the Stylist, like, how do you brand that? How did you envision that as the persona? Because that starts now becoming a thing throughout the industry. Everyone knows that's the guy to go to, you know.
So my alias from home, Bobo. Bobo. None of people bangazi Bobo. Yes. None of people know me as Bobo. And there's a guy who used to play soccer. He was a soccer player he used to play for Mapetla, Brazil. I think it was called Bob 2000. Because I used to play soccer, they used to call me now Bob 2000. Right, from Bob 2000. Now that I'm a stylist, I'm like, stylist. Crazy. Bob the Stylist. They start, everyone, you don't give yourself an alias. Yes. My homies started calling me Bob the Stylist. I'm like, I'm going to run with it. Registered the company. I ran with it. Making suits, and I offer a styling service.
Incredible, bro. Okay, and so now you've got the suits. You've been doing that. You styling massive shoots. Hennessy comes in.
Hennessy reaches. They reached out to me, I think, in 2017. Yeah. 2018. I went for the audition. I got it. Also now face of Hennessy of Sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah. I used to get pictures with my homies and then Ghana, Nigeria. I'm like, yo, man, you're all over the country. So why I'm mentioning this, because a chunk of that money went back to. So now I moved out of my mom's house, and I reside in the south. Took that, put it on my bond, and I took most of it into building Boys of Soweto. Because whilst I'm doing everything, but Boys of Soweto. So remember, I left Boys of Soweto because it's not working because of the homies, and it just doesn't make sense to me. But it keeps coming to me, man. Like,
in the back of your mind, you're always thinking about it.
Ideas, and I think I had a dream. There's this one designer, I just forgot her name, and that dream, she asked me, why aren't I doing shows? Why aren't I doing fashion shows? As soon as I realized, I think this was in 2020. Yeah, I went back to it. Started like the first time. I made t-shirts, I made sweaters. I opened an Instagram account, Boys of Soweto. Started selling. During COVID, I was just uploading content.
Man. And you've got a great reputation samples. Now. Yeah. You've got a rapport in the industry and...
Yeah, just doing that. Incredible. And it just, one thing led to another. Like, all that money, all the profits that came in, I put it back in the business, exploring designs, and people just receiving it well. Yes. And fast forward, we're here.
That's crazy, man. What a beautiful story, bro. What a beautiful story. And just to see how you've also transitioned from the styling world to now creating a brand. And you've created something that's now, and the name is so powerful, bro, because it's like, as much as it started as a collective, it represents a mind state more than a place. You know what I mean?
That's how I see it, yeah.
And that's how it resonates, man. And it's like, it's incredible how you have embodied that. And it's also interesting to me that, like, I have these chats with a lot of people, and, a lot of the guys somehow take a sort of dormant break from the brand for a little while. And somehow when they come back to it, it's like everything realigns as it's actually meant to be. So that's also quite interesting to hear, bro. What would you say is who would you say is your earliest supporter of Boys of Soweto?
really support. It's strange, man. It's a strange thing because it's people that I don't know. It's just like I said,
Wow.
I've cousins who've been supporting me from the first time, right?
Yes.
From the first go when I started selling, and my sister as well. She'd buy sweaters and tees. But most of the people that bought my pieces or the garments that I sold, it's people that I don't know.
Wow, bro,
Yeah.
that's so incredible. And that must be such a great feeling because it's like, wow, someone who's not like in my inner circle trying to support me is like someone's out there who really messes with the product and
Sure.
trying to.
It was a confirmation to me, man. It was a
Wow.
confirmation that there is definitely something here. You're not being delusional. There is
Yes.
something. Like I said, I didn't really focus in selling in the township,
Yeah.
right? I sold most of my stuff at Utter Main or even in Bram, right? And in 2020, when I started now after the page, I used to get orders from Midrand, and I'll be driving around. 2021, I was just driving around dropping off stuff, Midrand, Randburg, and back in the township as well in Soweto. So it was just everyone, and it was just beautiful just seeing
Beautiful,
that.
man.
Yeah, it was just beautiful seeing that. And one thing that I enjoyed doing is just driving around. So I was delivering stuff. Yeah,
Crazy.
For
bro.
me, there was just it was a beautiful moment. And one thing happened. And then there's a lady called Busi. 2022, right? When she sent me a DM, like, yeah, man, our company, this is what they normally do on every financial year. They give out a grant to entrepreneurs, and this time around they're focusing on fashion designers or in the fashion industry. Because you know how social media is, especially in Facebook, like, nah, she's a scam. Didn't pay attention to her, right? And she sent me like 2 messages. Then the third one was like, oh, let me just hear what she's about, right? And she told me that stuff. She needed my documents and whatnot. Luckily, because I have friends. There's a friend of mine, Raymond, who Raymond is a friend of mine from while I was playing soccer. Remember, I did say earlier on that I used to play. I started a soccer team, so we played in the same team. So during the tough period, the tough times. I would go to Ray and then just listen to his story. Now, homie, I used to play soccer with him. We went to Rao, and first of all, we met even when I was working in a call center.
Yes.
When I was working in retail, he used to go to UJ.
Yes.
Right. And say 3 years after, I'm hearing stories that Raymond is now in Egypt. And then the next thing, Raymond is in America, working. Like, man, I wonder how it is. When he came back, I reached out to him and told him, like, yo, man, I showed him a business plan.
Yeah.
This is the brand that I've started. I just need assistance in any way. And he heard me, listened to me, man. And I think he invested, like, yo, make me a suit. Not that I think he actually gave me 3.5, like, yo, man, make me a suit. I need to order stuff,
Yeah.
And he's one person that I go back and just, when I have an idea and break it to him, like, man, yeah, I hear you, but you can actually make it bigger. You can take this to a larger scale, So Raymond played a pivotal role, and just, even me just schooling me about my business, man. Take care of your business account. One thing that you need to do with your business account, don't use it as your personal. Always separate your business account with your personal stuff. So when I was now making these sales, those lessons, and then even the books that I was reading at that time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I was going back to that, like, oh, you need to understand where you are as an actual person and your business. If you want to grow, you need to respect this business because it's going to respect you back. So I never really used my funds, always go back, use the profits will go back into the business. So he played a pivotal role. And even, I think this was now 2022.
Yes.
I've just collaborated with Malcolm. I did a gig with Malcolm. Right? It was good. I got some cash, and I was doing my calculation, right? Because now I'm a freelancer.
Yeah.
I'm doing my calculation that for me, I probably need 150K, right? Just to push me for the year. I'm looking at my rent and the projects I want to do. So I reached out to him because he's now doing well. Raymond has got a company, I went to him, like, asked for funding, a loan, and told him that I was going to pay it back in the space of still 6 months. The most will be a year. It's like, I can't give you, I sat down with him, like, I can't give you 150, but I can give you 70K. Raymond borrowed me that 70K. Now I'm selling where I was selling at the market, and then moved from the market to 299 Juta.
Yeah.
I took that, bought stock, made that 70K in a month. I was like, yo, Ray, I got your cash. And I thought it will take me like 6 months, right? Just calculating how.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, it took me a month. Like, yo, here's the 70K. He's like, nah, keep it. That's a phone call. Said me.
That's you, bro.
My bad. My bad. So, like, nah, you can keep it. I was like, I sat down with him and like, nah, I'd like to thank you, and I'll give you a portion of my shares, in the business. I'll give you equity. Like, nah, sure. Like, sure. Like, how much do you want? Because I knew how good he was with just on the financial side of things, and I know I need him in my team. Like, okay, I'll take a minority. I'll take like a 5%, and we'll.
Incredible. So who's your first partner in the business?
So he's my first partner, Raymond. He's got a company called Yawa. He's got a company called Yawa and an IT company called IT Think, and now tap into gaming and stuff. So yeah.
What a legend, man.
So he's the person that I would go to when I needed financial advice.
Yes.
Oh, not just advices in life. He would assist me on that, It's like it's only fitting because I do not have physical cash to pay him back. Like, I'll give you some of my business because I actually needed him on that,
Incredible.
Yeah, so he was the first partner.
How do you link with Theo, and how does that whole link into Batu Group happen, and how does that partnership look like? How does that happen?
Theo reached out to me, say 2 years back, and we had this conversation. This is now when Boys of Soweto is now moving. Everyone is acknowledging the brand. I think people are just seeing it everywhere.
Yes.
And he reached out to me like, this is what I'm seeing. I'd like to be part of the business. This is where we can take it. Played around with an idea for like a year or two, and went back and like we then started, testing things out.
Wow.
And see how we can really grow this entity. Because the goal is, it's not just to be local. We want to reach.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You guys are a powerhouse together, man. And he's also such a legend, bro. To see you guys like in the same room last night, and just like the way you guys carry yourselves, your energy, and just what you guys have. Like, I see this as the apparel arm of everything else he's doing. And, I think the sky's the limit when you put people, incredible minds like your guys selves together, Would you say there was a moment where Boys of Soweto goes crazy, or was it the culmination of these little steps and things happening along the way?
I think these are small steps leading to the next, small step leading to the next. But all that happened, man, just required a sense of discipline. Because I know I had to sacrifice friendships for this to work. 2021 is when I started being busy, and I was dropping. I had this utility vest, and everyone wanted the utility vest. Ladies wanted the utility vest, right? I think it was after Carol Bauer? Carol Bauer, she was in New York. She posted a picture wearing the Boys of Soweto, and after it just went crazy. And I remember in one weekend, I was supposed to meet up with Scoop. So I was now friends with Scoop at that particular time. Like, we were supposed to go to an event, and I was just getting DMs, crazy DMs. Like, nah, I can't go out. I need to focus on this. There was an event happening. So it was an event happening from his side, and on this side was Homie Love and Friends. I think they had an event at Nirox.
Yeah.
You want to go out. You want to mingle with your peers, right? And it was just from there I realized, like, nah, I can't go out. I need to work on this, And I just went on the tunnel vision. Same tunnel vision that I used to get when I was playing soccer. I went on the tunnel vision, just focused on that, So relationships were sacrificed.
I love that, bro. And I love that you're touching on that, because that's the reality of building something and bringing something to life. Like, there's going to be sacrifices, and it is, once that thing hits and it's like a reality dwells in, you're like, you have this sense of responsibility, right? Where you're like, yo, every second and every cent I spend has to be far more focused and controlled. And I love your analogy of being in this like flow state of like, you know, it's like the runner who runs, and eventually when he's running, he doesn't even feel like he's running. He's just like in the zone. Doesn't even feel his body running anymore. And you know, someone playing disky or like, you know, being in that zone and you tapping into that. And I love that you touch on it because it takes a lot of that to build a brand, man. It's insane, you know. Bro, a couple of more questions before we wrap up. We're going to manifest a bit. What are some of your dream collabs you see happening? Give me maybe some local, some international. Who would you want to, if there's an individual or another brand you would see yourself collaborating with? Or if there's a individual here or overseas or someone that you're like, yo, if we were in the same room creating something mad was going to happen.
Okay. It's definitely homies of mine from Paris. Art comes first. They're from Paris. You know, they played a pivotal role as well during the blogging days, you know, because we got to meet.
Wow.
They were here when Street Cred.
Crazy.
Yeah, got to meet them, and we've built a relationship. And, you know, don't lie, they've contributed a lot. Then they've motivated me throughout the times. You know, and I could reach out to them and send them a DM, like, yo, man, this is what I want to do, you know, how do I move around? And then they would advise me, you know.
Wow.
So, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, to collaborate with them, because that's just their creative level. There was a time where just their creative level was on the next level, you know,
Wow,
was on a high level. So definitely them. Diesel, of course. From an artist, this is, well, it's not even a dream. It's something that we're going to be doing, right?
100%.
I'm thinking about it. I just need to reach out to him. Terrence Malulega. Terrence is just a next level artist, you know.
Absolutely, bro.
Definitely want to do something with him.
That would be crazy, bro. Crazy. I love that idea, bro. Yo.
Just, out fashion, but extended even outside fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I'm living in a reality where I've collaborated with Jägermeister, and we're going to be dropping new merch as well this year.
Incredible.
So
bro.
I am living in that reality. So definitely Diesel, Matkosa, man, I respect Laduma, what he's doing.
I was going to suggest like that would also be crazy, bro. You guys doing like a tracksuit piece or something together would be insane, bro. Like,
you know, I've once reached out to him like early, but I didn't. It was just testing, because I've always been, you know, knocking. Yeah, I've reached out to him once, and I had a couple of ideas, you know. But it would be great to sit down with him and see what we can do, what we can come up with.
Bro.
Yeah, he's talented, and he's a great guy as well. Yeah. So luckily, we say Laduma. I'm a closer by Laduma. Internationally, say Diesel.
I love that, bro.
Yeah.
Beautiful answer, man. Beautiful answer. What would you say, bro, is your biggest advantage as a creative?
My biggest advantage is that I am not just as a creative.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one-dimensional, right? There's the music aspect.
Yeah.
There's the styling. Yeah. Then there's the designing. You know, and with that, you know, I can always interconnect these three worlds together, because it's good that you're a designer, but being a designer is not enough. You need to be able how to assemble looks, right, and communicate, be able to bring this piece into existence. People need to see themselves wearing your pieces, right? And the you can't run away. The music, it's part of the culture, so then it expands what you're doing. So that's my one advantage, is that I'm not one-dimensional.
Bro, what a brilliant answer, bro. And that's so spot on. You've hit the nail on the head. And he'll shabobo the shit out of you on top of that.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Today, where is Boys of Soweto? Where is it available? Where can people find it?
Right. So now, today, Boys of Soweto is available in 4 channels. We've got a flagship store in Braamfontein, 99 Jutta Street. We've got a Underwee Egg in Rosebank. You can find us there. We've got an online store on our website, boysofsoweto.co.za. And recently, since we're in Cape Town, Boys of Soweto is available at VNA under We Are Egg Store.
Incredible, bro. Yeah. Are you guys taking Bitcoin yet?
Not yet.
You must, bro.
I need to tap into Binance. I need to tap into that cryptocurrency space.
Yeah. We'll make it happen, bro. Binance Pay, bro. Then you sort it, bro. Any other books you want to put people onto? Any other things that you've come across that have changed?
A book that changed my life. So, a book that changed my life is Mind Power. Mind Power by John Carew. I think John Carew, Mind Power. It's just, it's funny how we are not taught about our mind. We learn about everything at school, but besides how the mind functions, and that you have the power to create your reality, irregardless where you come from. I know that the surroundings, environment is everything, but once you've created your internal surrounding, then you can shift the external surrounding. So definitely Mind Power. If you want to manifest your own reality, and if you want to know yourself better and then regulate your emotions, I'd say The New Earth by Eckhart. Sure.
New Earth by Eckhart. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to check those two out as well, bro. My last question to you, my bro, is if you're talking to the 18-year-old version of yourself, or you're talking to someone who's stepping into the world of fashion, whether it be styling or starting their t-shirt brand or caps or whatever it is that they're stepping into, what is some advice you would give them or give a younger version of yourself?
What advice will I give to a younger version of me? Right. Firstly, you are who you've been waiting for. You have to save yourself, because no one will. But in this journey, it's important to understand that you will meet people who are going to challenge you for the better and for worse. But at the end of the day, it's going to be for your growth. You work with people who struggle to work with other people. At times you'll have to lower yourself. Well, most of the time you have to lower yourself, and I think this is good for the ego, because my journey is not just, yes, I'm working on a material plane, we're working with styling, I'm making garments, but it's also spiritual, and I've learned to surrender, to the calling. Sometimes you work with people who don't treat you fairly, but you just allow it. And what I've realized with my life is that whenever I lower myself, then the source tends to, take me to another level. When you lower yourself, God takes you to another level. You just need to surrender to the calling. And there are times you might feel like you're being attacked, but maybe there's a teaching there. Maybe your ego needs to die. Always ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me about myself? What is it that I need to work on? But at the end of the day, you have to save yourself. Yeah, man. And when you sacrifice, when you now surrender to the calling or this thing of yours that you believe in, when you put in time, when you put in energy, when you put in your money, there will come a time in your life where now every day feels like Christmas. You just need to surrender. Throughout this journey of trying to be a stylist, a designer, I do not have credential for such, but I was able to manifest that dream, that reality. So anyone who's watching or listening to this, who's watching this, that you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one will. You have to save yourself. If you're working in an environment where you don't feel happy, you don't feel acknowledged, and you've got a dream, you've got a talent or skill, you have to surrender to it. You have to let go. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenging road, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the day.
That's incredible, bro. That's a beautiful answer, bro. I love that. And I love just the way you explain that sometimes like the path of least resistance and just dropping your ego. Not everything needs to be a fight. Not everything needs to be to show that you're the big man in the room. Sometimes you just need to somewhat surrender and allow the channeling of what is meant for you to channel through you. And that's so beautifully put, bro. That's like such a special answer, bro. I don't think anyone's ever answered that question like that. My bro, from my side, I just want to give you your flowers. I think you are onto something absolutely incredible here. Sure. And it feels like it's the sort of beginning of that story. It's not, I know you've lived the whole journey of the brand, but right now it feels like you're on the cusp of something incredible that's about to happen. I think and also your answer on just your creative advantage and just the way you understand the styling. You know, you're in such a unique pocket and you're such a unique individual in the sense that you do have this styling background and now you understand the business side. You've worked in retail. You understand the world of sports and community and working with team and people, and you know, you bridge such an important gap that I think you are going to play such a pivotal role in the fashion industry as a whole. And I don't doubt, bro, I'm going to be walking around in Paris there with my wife and kids one day. And then we're going to walk past the Boys of Soweto store and I'm going to be like, yo, baby, crazy story. This guy was on the pod. Like, he just told me the story, you know, and I'm going to tell my kids about the brand, bro, you know. So thank you, my bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate you making time. I appreciate you taking time to come spread some gems here and just sharing your story with us, bro. Like, we'll do it again, and you know, we'll do it every big milestone. Please come through, and then we chat about it, and you can just drop some more knowledge, and you know, we can manifest the next batch of things that we're gonna do. You know, shout out to you, bro. Much love, bro. That was beautiful, bro. That was incredible, man.
Every year's the head to wear the crown. When I take the crown off, I put it on ice.